Chapter 1, Tape 1, July. The mixtape. July, River, Best of You, Dig, Not Ready to Make Nice, Landslide, Volcano, Cheers, Darling, Achilles Come Down, You Should Probably Leave. Adjust Your Dial, Noah Cyrus, July, Remix, Leon Bridges. Press Play, July, Noah Cyrus, Leon Bridges. Picture of me and Danny at the beginning of our journey. The flare, the jump. Pictures of my marriage. Pictures of my face and my journey, my high school years. Picture of me now, and a picture of me at the beginning of my journey. A picture showing my splits. Photography is mine in the background. It's time to take my turn. This phrase I whisper to myself as my fingers hit end on my former life, the life of titles and privilege in my ivory tower, to describe how it felt in the moment to slam the door on all my hard work. I would say that it felt like fingers. I would say that my fingers felt like toes hanging off the edge of the waterfall. This waterfall was only in my mind, but the intense feeling was the same. Moments before I had to make the call of my life. Unstable income to my home and my family, the cost was only my entire soul. The alternative route would be to say no more and raise my chin to the sky. Pictures from Yellowstone on a hike. Press play, River, Leon Bridges. All I need is love. Better grab my sunglasses, my future is bright. This moment in my life needs my strength to get ready for battle. This battle comes at a much greater cost. It was time to get ready for war. It was time to hunt the inner warrior within. It was time to fight for life, to focus on something greater than a job. And at the end of the day, it's just a job, not the dream. Photography is mine from California. The hardest decision I had to make, staring at this point in my life, becoming my greatest fear is failure. There I stood, ready to self-destruct, my clothes torn, my mind gone, my hands bloody, and it was time to drag my trophy, walk slowly to the edge of starting over, peek my head over, watch the water rush, hear the forces of the past. The words blow through me, my dream rushes under me and over the cliff, knowing that jumping off this ledge could kill me, but staying where I stood was certain death. I was swimming in a rapid river, surrounded by sharks. In this water, I was bare naked and emotionally raw. Photography mine from Glacier. The sharks smelt blood in the water. There was danger up ahead. My villains have arrived, carrying changing faces, moving forward covered in purity, protecting my heart, escaping to be with my first love, the love of a mother, hanging the phone with another person I chose over her. That day in my waking life, I hung out with the person whom I loved, a maternal love, and in her arms I felt safe. The safety was necessary for my survival in that river. My spirit is a wild animal that cannot be tamed. Photography mine from Glacier. On a cold day in December, her safety blanket could no longer cover me. My howl got too loud. The sharks have found me. They sniffed me out, and in this moment we cried. My fate was shown, and all I wanted was my mom or a mom, some sort of maternal guidance in this bed I made. That woman could never have been my mother. I had a mother, however, she was a million miles away, fighting her own battle. Her battle was far greater than mine. She was battling against cancer, and cancer does not care that her daughter is suffering what could be seen as a major failure in some eyes. My boss, Janie and me at making candles, and my mom in California at the beginning of my first break. Press play, Best of You, Foo Fighters. In my eyes of perception, I seen failure was a prison hold in my mind and heart, and all I wanted was to lay my head on my mom's lap and cry. Although my mom loves me and wishes she could wipe this slate clean, she cannot. I must clean the spilled blood on this cold floor where I stood. Photography mine from Glacier. My trusted friend at that job, who I told goodbye for the last time, never wanted to hear the words goodbye from me. This time she knew that I would never be coming back like I have always done years prior. Year after year, I lined up like a whipping post for whatever my job duty was for that day. My back was bruised and I could not take it anymore. Then the wind filled my lungs with God's grace on my shoulders. I closed my eyes, threw my body off the cliff into clear, abundant waters below. Where I go is none of their concern. My talents will be spent elsewhere. Photography mine from the Mayo. Then I stood up from the chair of despair. I had been sitting in this chair. Then I stood up from the chair of despair I had been sitting. This chair was my cliff. Gathered my pride, stopped my shaking hands from disbelief on what I did, disbelief that I did what I did, and closing the chapter in my real life book because I did not want to experience it any longer. My son in that moment looked up and smiled. My health melted back into my physical body, knowing that I made the right decision. Don't worry, Mommy, it's over. Photography mine from my back porch on the farm. Picture from the internet. Press play, dig, Incubus. When I crawled my weakened frame of a body to the bathroom mirror, when I stood in front of the mirror where I used to be met with my smiling face, the smiling face was usually paired with my sunny disposition on life. Now I seen eyes red from worrying about my mental health and my physical health. My insides were now cynical and bitter. My beating heart was seen on my face for the world. I was dying from a disease in my mind, day by day, my soul fading. My legs shake on a tightrope I was walking. The tightrope is starting to feel like there's a weakness ahead. My iron gun is loaded and ready in my shaking hand. The river is flowing fast beneath my worn feet, yet I kept walking uphill on a tightrope. Then the sounds of a long black train lingering in the hills in the lower part of the mountain. Worry waves in my mind like a dark spirit. Then the fires in the distance cried out, screaming like whistles in the wind. Keep going was the message. Photography mine, Glacier. Press play, Landslide, The Chicks. The ghost that wanders my woods, I walked, continued to whisper into my foggy mind. The next morning on the day of new life, when I took a deep breath, when I took a deep when I took a big deep breath of new life, I got dressed and made my plans, and each step in the plan will need to be taken very carefully. This road is untraveled and danger appears ahead. Now we moved onward in faith. A spirit held my hand and inside me knocked darkness. The dark force had a hold of me. Seeing the glory of climbing that mountain was still gripping my heart. Thoughts of failing was sinking me into the ground, and each step forward felt like I was stepping into new mud after a winter thaw. My biggest strength was now sinking me, and each choice was stealing my fate. My mind was no longer in control. Something had a hold of me, or someone, unable to hold my tongue, caused me to give back my broken crown. And when I got to peak, I found the mountain I had been climbing was not what I thought. Photography mine, Glacier. You give me miles and miles of mountains, and I'll ask for the sea. Press play, Volcano, Damien Rice. It was a volcano, a big, scary volcano, not the utopia that was listed in the job description. Beautiful greenbacks jump in the distance, showing glimpses and dust clouds, close enough to imagine how you would spend the earned rewards. My dark journey in the woods uphill was starting to open into beautiful fields of abundance, and I can smell the sweet fruits of a labor clot. They promised me abundance, and like Eve in the garden, I knew the story and I seen the ending. No, I will not speak of your sins. I will be safe at home, tucked in. Warm, happy, my heart was flawed, and I knew my weakness, my addiction, my kryptonite. You cannot tempt me. Your values are all shot. I simply am just standing up from that table. God has a better table in mind. Adjust your dial. Damian Rice. Cheers, darling. With every power comes with a cost. My dream of financial freedom was starting to pull its hard branches from its magic forest. Nothing in this dream that I was living was not what it seemed. The greenbacks turned into evil mushrooms, and the dark grasses surrounding my feet. If I do not run to safety, they will get a hold of me. Catch me if you can. The world at the top of this volcano was reaching a pressure point. This mountain was rumbling. The rivers are rushing. The dams are weakening. My senses are pulling me to run, jump, or pray for safety. Sirens were ringing from the ground below. Unfortunately, I had been climbing this. Unfortunately, I've been climbing this far, and I need to see the eye of the fire deep into the core. I am not a quitter, but if I do not leave now, it will cost me more than scrapes on my knees, a cost so high I simply do not have the funds to pay. And as I leaped past the opening of the beast, I threw the slip, a slip. I signed when I ran my mouth for the last time. You can bear your beast of burden on someone else. My life has purpose. And at one time in my life, that was my entire purpose. All my joy was found in my title and my duties. However, God wanted me to move on. He gave me every clue to leave, and I am not listening. I was unable to be moved. He had to move me. This I can see clearly with His grace protecting me. I will not pay your costs. My life is more valuable than any amount of money, and even if my value in your eyes cannot be seen, the light inside of me will be seen in due time. This smile will beam on you, and my heat will rise from the ashes where you left me. Adjust your dial. Catch me if you can. Trailer 1. Song Delicate, Damian Rice. My morning yearning will be filled with love. The spirits that crossed me in my escape from the nightmare will always live in my heart and motivate me to carry on. This fall was the last fall from grace. I promise you that. My future has a divine purpose that I will not give up on. Until this moment in my life, I have been living. I have been lying to everyone. My happiness was fake, my smile forced. However, my words of encouragement I used to help strengthen my fatigued heart. My love for you was not an illusion or fake. In every relationship, both professional and personal, is real and pure. This is something I cannot change in a swift movement. My loyalty could never be bought, traded, or stolen. My consciousness is clear and pure, like my heart. I am free from the pain. Friends, carry onward and upwards, and I hope you carry these words with you to help guide you on your journey in this life. It took a lot of sacrifices to get to this point in my journey. That climb on that mountain took pieces of my soul, peeling off my skin like paint on an old house. Much like this old house on the hill that I sit down to write how I found myself again. After taking such a tumble, the volcano was a den of devilish sharks. They were shapeshifted into my demons, holding my keys to success I longed for. These sharks were greasing me up for years. They fed their belly full of my labors. Despite the efforts of the sharks in that climb, they got to go hungry tonight. They may have been trying to prep me for a feast, but I never showed up for dinner. Their bellies will have to stay empty. My server tipped me off that the sharks were hungry. The eyes of someone I used to know. My friend's thoughts lingered in my mind and my soul with the words you should probably leave, words that only lifted into my heart from the heart of a person on the other side of a device in their hand. You are my sunshine. Friend, I will do just that, just as you trained me to do. Stand up and take my bow. Photography Mine from California. The credits I should probably leave. That is the end.